You want a head scratch? Oh, yes. All right, day number 3 on bottle training. And of course, this little girl has known how to use a bottle for a little bit of time now. So I have some others that are like, hey, feed me, feed me. I actually, oh goodness, you're like all spread out like a little, hey, you can possibly walk. Hey, Toad, you are just a fat little thing. But I got to use my kidding stalls as intended. Oh, look how spacious it is. It is so spacious. I do have a kid who's like hiding back in here. I hope he can get out. I bet he can if he just stands up and backs out. But sometimes we expect little ones to do things that make a lot of, you know, common sense to us and really not common sense to us. So we've got these, and they're working as intended so that I can have my moms out kind of where they're accessible, but they're not all the way out into the pasture. I actually have my old Seidel panels that I used to use for kidding stalls. I have them set up kind of as a, kind of set up as like a holding pen for my mamas to duke it out there, get used to, because eventually all of these guys are gonna have to go out with all of their moms and actually be a part of their herd. And that's really not a problem. I worry because it's been a particularly hard season. So for me, I'm just like, you know, Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong this season. So I'm just trying to take my time with things. I just can't. I know you think I'm your mama, because your mama technically doesn't really like you that much. But I'm not the mama. Bees are out trying to find something to drink. Hello, friend. Are you trying to find something to drink? Are you trying to find some sustenance? He's not the only one, or she's not. She's not the only one. She's got a couple friends landing in and around her. Oh, there you are. That one is camera shy, but getting a nice drink on this nice warm day, huh? You get these warm days. And these little sisters just got to get out and get drinks, bring some water back to the hive, and bees get thirsty too. And speaking of the bees, let's go check out our bees. It is actually warm enough today that I am sure they're out and about, and it feels glorious. This is almost too much. So we were just kidding last week in teens at the lowest, highs in the 30s, and then here we are 3 days later, and it's almost 70. The bees are out, everything's starting to look green. The honeysuckle, even though we don't like honeysuckle that much because it's invasive, the honeysuckle is starting to green. I don't know, you guys can probably pick up just like hints of that pastel green that we all just crave with all of our heart and our soul in the depths of winter. And I have to do a double take, because it just is almost like the color green, natural green, like the green behind me in the grass. Look at that, guys. It almost is just like a forgotten color. It's a little bit intoxicating, but my soul has just longed to see green. It has longed for it, and it's finally starting to pop up everywhere. Oh my. The moment I turned the corner of the fence, I could already see all the activity. It's a highway over here, which means all 3 hives, it's normal activity. If I didn't think that we were still supposed to get a little bit cold next week, I would be removing all of my hive entrance reducers. I would be taking them from like that itty bitty little small space, opening it to the wider space to help with ventilation and things. Probably when we hit April next week and it starts being a little bit more consistent, I'll probably start taking the bottom boards out of the bottom, because a lot of our beehives have vents up underneath them. That's to help with ventilation, so that when it gets hot, you know, they're not going to get out front, and they're not going to beard or do any of the weird things that bees sometimes do. Well, it's not weird. It's very indicative behavior that tells us as humans, hey, your man-made home for me. Get a little more. Can we put on the AC? So you guys can see behind me, like there's just, every single hive has a lot of activity. I love it so much. And the honey locust hive looks real busy. I don't want to get really too close, but there's a lot of orientation flights going on here. You guys hear me talk about orientation flights all the time, because in the summertime when I come out here and there's a new batch of little bees, little baby bees that are learning to fly, they take what's called an orientation flight, and they come in front and they do this little figure 8, and they're just figuring out how to work those wonderful wings of theirs. But it always looks like swarming from a distance, so I always come flying out. But it's a good sign too that my queens are still in there, that they're still laying, because new bees can't be new baby bees if nobody laid the eggs. So this is a good indication that the queens are still in there and doing their thing. And even though honey locust hive is a little bit on the super not nice side, I'm going to get a little bit closer here, because there's pollen pants that just keep coming in. There's so many little bees coming in and out. Hello girls. It's been a long winter. It's been a long winter. Let's see if we can catch someone coming in with any pollen pants on. There was a bunch there a second ago. That is such a reassuring buzz, a hum, that you just hear on these hives. It says, I'm alive and I'm well, and I'm busy. Get out of my way. So I am standing off to the side, even though that's honey locust hive. We've got CC hive, and I'm kind of staying out from in front of them because, like us, they have highways and byways, and this is a main space of travel to get back into their hive. So we're always doing all of our maintenance from the side and the back, and I can already see I've got something starting here, which I don't like seeing, and that is ants. And that's the ants. And you can see they're going all the way down to the bottom. So I'm going to probably have to pop these guys open here soon, maybe on the next really warm day, which probably is Sunday, because these ants that are coming up and down here are an indicator that they're in the top up here and they're commandeering. So I need to go ahead and head that off at the pass. Not to mention, as these guys start working and refilling their stores, I'll need to be putting on another honey super on the top. Honey supers, for those of you that are not knowledgeable with the bee lingo, the bottom 2 big boxes are called brood boxes. That's where the queen does a lot of her laying. Sometimes she'll do her laying up in honey supers if there's not enough room. And usually queens don't cross a honey barrier. They don't really cross over the comb full of honey to go lay eggs. So I'm going to probably put another small box on top. And oh my goodness, I haven't named this hive because I was very guarded. But you guys can see here, we've got just a ton of ants. So, well, sweetheart, a lot of ants out here on this box as well. I didn't see any just kind of glancing back there, but I think it's because I've actually got these guys back closer to like a wood line. On the next cold day, I might actually move everybody up and try to just get like a nice straight line, because that hive almost never has ants. It's these guys back here that have them. I'm guessing maybe because they get a little bit more shade. So at the top, it's not as hot as that one gets. So I can also get cinnamon out here and put it all around the bottom, or I think it's vinegar too, because it messes with their sense of smell and they don't like that. So it makes them go away. But the thing with that, it has to be applicated or applied a lot. So we opened it up on both sides. It's kind of cool. So this is the first time that we're putting all these girls in the same pen together overnight. So this could be really interesting, but I've had 3 in here with everyone, and everyone's finding their mom. Moms are going to babies and making sure those are the right babies. So once they calm down a little bit, they'll be fine. a lot of mom, where are you, mom? Hey, Tavor, your mom is over there. She's right there. Tavor. Honey, your mom's over there. And among all the chaos, Merida is now in, look at those eyes. She's now in a kidding pen. And Tulip, hello Tulip, hi, is now in a kidding pen. You're so pretty, too bad you hate me. Okay, y'all, this morning I noticed that Merida was in early signs of labor. And I was faced with a conundrum because it's Sunday. I go to church on Sunday, I sing in the worship team, and it brings me a lot of reward. It feeds my soul till I get there next week. So I was faced with a goat conundrum once again. I missed last week because of Haley's kidding. And I knew I was rolling a dice, but I'm like, you know, she's a really seasoned mom. I really hope she can wait for me to get back. And we just went at it that way. I was just really hoping that she would wait for me to get back and that she's not had any kidding issues prior. And then I got home and I trotted out here and Merida was actually pushing out the doeling, which you guys can't see, she's underfeeding, but she was actually pushing out the doeling as I walked through that door. I ran out here in my Sunday best because I was still in my church clothes to see what was going on and walked in. I heard the and came into the stall and noticed, like right down here in this corner, she was just starting to push out her first doeling. So yes, Merida did give us a doeling, and yes, God is faithful. Ask and you shall receive, I guess. So then it wasn't but 5 minutes later and she pushed out her second. Merida is a third-time freshener, and she's a pro at this point. Her udder looks amazing, by the way. And she's got a doe and a buck. And I have named most of my coats this year, guys. So I don't think I'm gonna need help naming them. Actually, that'll be something we'll go through here in a video because I have one more doe in this group, and then I've got one in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then I got another one at the end of April, and then a couple mid-March, and then some in July. So we'll go over these kids' names here in a little while, but just keep in mind, guys, this has been a heavy buck year, which means I don't get to keep everybody. I am going to keep one buck, and that's Dreamer's buck. I'm going to keep him because the more that I watch this little fella, the more he is unfolding. And I think he's just really level and square underneath of himself, and he's really, really gorgeous. I really like him, and after losing Willow and Dreamer only giving me a buck, I figure this is probably the best way to bring Willow back into my herd, is to use her grandson and hopefully put some of those genetics over some girls that need improvements, because Dreamer's udder is nothing to snuff at as a first-time freshener, especially with just a single. So really excited about all this, guys. But I'm so glad that God is faithful, and she listened to me and heard me praying and did what I asked her to do and said, could you wait till I get home? And she waited literally for me to walk through the door before she spit the first one out. So, oh, she's such a good mommy. And her little buckling is her clone. He looks just like her. He looks just like you. I don't need to lick to Mom. Like mother, like son, yeah? So beautiful. He's beautiful like you. He's beautiful like you. And then your little girl is under there. Yeah, herself little drinkers.